So here we go. While Blade failed to become a full franchise in the modern day, X-Men has been a fairly strong franchise, with the very long and bumpy road leading to the modern day. But this is where it all began, and it's an above average movie, not too good, not too bad, just average. Released in 2000, during the height of the return of superhero movies, and released by Fox, that's a whole nother story right there. This is the very first X-Men movie. So with all that said, let's get started with that plot. Our plot begins following Rogue, whose powers activate, causing her to run away, and along the way, she bumps into Wolverine. After the two are attacked by Magneto's henchmen, the two are picked up by the titular X-Men, who believe Magneto is after Wolverine for some nefarious scheme here or there. Meanwhile, Magneto begins his scheme to cause mutations to occur in otherwise average humans, and it's up for the X-Men to save the world. First off, my first favorite complaint about the movie, as well as part of the franchise, is the costumes. I understand that the original costumes weren't exactly the best. Hell, by this point in the comics, most of them don't even wear their original costumes. But I mean, all black leather just looks so garish. They're doing it in the same style as Blade, but the X-Men aren't the same style of comics as Blade. The X-Men are silly. They have crazy moments. They go into space later. They're not all hardcore, edgy 90s like Blade, and these costumes don't really work for them. Oh boy. Secondly, and spoilers by the way, how did the X-Men think Magneto was after Wolverine? There were two mutants on that bus, and he could have been after either of them. Honestly, this wouldn't be the last time the franchise focused on Wolverine when it was better off giving screen time to someone else, and it's a lesson these movies have a hard time of learning. The twist is a pretty decent one, but at the same time it doesn't really make sense if you're really thinking about it. So what exactly is good here? Well, I don't often talk about casting, but the casting is nearly perfect. What I mean by that is, all the main roles are perfectly casted, to the point where when you think Professor X, you think Patrick Stewart, or at least nowadays when you think old Professor X, you think Patrick Stewart. When you think old Magneto, you think Ian McKellen, and when you think Wolverine, no matter what, you think Hugh Jackman. Whoever was in charge of this, I hope they were paid well for this, or at least get some kind of royalties for whenever these guys make appearances. Overall, this is an average movie, nothing to really get too worked up about, and nothing to really get all upset about, except for the stupid costumes, that's another story. But I guess this is the first film, it's pretty okay, and the rest of the franchise can go either way from there. But we'll get to the various highs and lows at another time. So, really quickly, I'm going to try and explain why. Why this counts as a Marvel movie, but not a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, why the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the way it is, and why it took so long for Spider-Man to show up. For those of you who don't know, which I'm assuming is 5 of you, or the ones who just don't care, basically speaking, around this time period, Marvel was leasing out his characters for his movie studios to make films, such as the last episode Blade, this episode with the X-Men, and next episode Spider-Man. Or wait, next episode's Blade 2, then Spider-Man. But you get what I mean. So basically speaking, the rights to these characters are owned, at least their film rights are owned by these movie studios, so that they can make the movies and get the majority of the profits, and Marvel gets royalties for the characters' use. However, the thing about that is because copyright law in the US is kind of weird, they can keep extending the rights to the characters as long as they keep making movies. That led to movies like the Amazing Spider-Man film, franchise thing, the current climate of the X-Men movies, why the Fan Four Stick was made. Basically speaking, they're all made to keep the profits up for the film studio, but at the same time, that's basically be a screw you to Marvel so they don't get the rights back. And now, for those of you who are wondering about Spider-Man Homecoming situation, that one is produced and made by Sony, but Marvel's overseeing basically everything about it, which is why it's a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. Now, I will see that happen with the X-Men, the fact that Marvel and Fox was in agreement, but considering the fact that Deadpool, which, I can't wait to get to Deadpool, made so much money, I don't imagine Fox is in a real rush to give the rights to the X-Men back to Marvel or do anything else with the X-Men movies outside of what they plan to do. And what they plan to do, from my knowledge, is reboot it again. We're getting I know there's plans for Deadpool 2. There's next gen X-Men movie or something. We have Logan coming up this year, and I'll get to that when we get to it. And oh boy, the rest of the X-Men movies. So yeah, that's the situation for that. Really complicated, lots of legal crap. But when you sum it up, right, that is just basically movie studios being what they are, big fussy babies. So yeah.